Welcome to Timesink, the weekly podcast to let you know what's worth sinking your time into. I'm your host, Sauce, and this week I am joined by Mr. Hummer.
Hola, mis amigos.
And Brad.
Another language other than English.
We got a great show for you this week. This week, we're going to talk about Just Mercy, Stanley Tucci, Searching for Italy, Flora and Ulysses, Malcom and Marie, and Irresistible. And if there's a little time, we're going to talk about what to do when you can't watch The Office. So stick around. We got a great show. But before we get into all that, make sure you head over onto timesinkpod.com. You can hit us up on all of our social media websites. Reach out to us. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want us to review. Everything's there for you, timesinkpod.com. And what do you do if you're asking if this is your first episode? We rate things on a scale from 1 to 5. Not how good it is, but if it's worth your time. 5's to put it at the top of your list, and 1, even if it's, I don't know, some amazing Oscar-winning movie, 1, it's not worth your time. So with that being said,
Dunkaroos, hard 5. You just said things. That means we can write whatever we want. Tissues, 3. Sometimes the sleeve works just fine. That's a pandemic, I know. I shouldn't be giving that advice. It's terrible advice. Damn it, I'm canceled. Damn it.
I mean, I don't know if you're canceled. I just don't know if I'm agreeing with you because I think tissues are very variable in their rating. Sometimes it is a 5. You need one.
This is now a general products podcast.
Kleenex or
let's
nothing.
Talk about the best cleaners for your kitchen.
Let me tell you something. The Kleenex with Vicks in it, those are the best ones. That's a 5.
Who is spending the extra money for the Vicks Kleenexes?
I'm a straight whatever paper towel is nearby is good enough to be a tissue, all right? Keep it rough and save yourself some fluff. That's the slogan, apparently.
All right. Do we have news?
There's been a lot of Nintendo stuff coming out lately, but honestly, nothing to get super excited for because all the stuff coming out is Pokemon, Mario universe stuff. It's the stuff that if you like it, you're gonna buy it anyway. So if you're a Switch owner, tons of stuff, tons of good games for you to play, but nothing new and exciting.
There's the giant news out of Marvel about the title of the latest Spider-Man movie, which was premiered through some really extravagant publicity nonsense that I thought they did, where each cast member posted a different title on Instagram, and then they had like fake video fights where they're like, they told me this, but they told you this. So there's that. If you're interested in knowing the title of the latest Spider-Man movie, you can check it out on Reddit because I don't know off the top of my head what it is.
It's No Way Home.
There it is. Thank you.
I am very, very excited for Spider-Man. It's going to be great, I hope. I'm really excited for all the stuff Marvel's doing this year. As soon as WandaVision's done, we got a month off, and then we're going to get the Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're going to get Black Widow. Then in June or July, we're getting the Loki series, which looks fucking amazing. I mean, we're getting so much good Marvel stuff, and we're getting good movies. We're getting Kong versus Godzilla, which I'm excited for. Mortal Kombat looks amazing, especially because they're focusing on the Scorpion's origin story, which is one of the coolest parts about Mortal Kombat. And if you're interested in that, I think I reviewed the animated Mortal Kombat movie a couple episodes back. Definitely worth your time. I mean, we're getting a ton of stuff this year. That was just the tip of the iceberg.
We did get other news out of Marvel too about stuff coming up. If you've been paying attention, like behind the scenes, they are hyped about the Eternals. And at Marvel Studios, they are behind the scenes talking about that they think it's going to be the best movie they've done so far. The actor performances in it, especially, are like they're talking heavily about Richard Madden, how great he is, how great Kumail Nanjiani is going to be, and like some of the stuff there. And they've already hinted at second and possibly third seasons for some of the Disney Plus shows that we're getting right now. I think a lot of people presume Loki is probably looking at a second and third season. The What If series is probably going to see multiple seasons as well. They did confirm WandaVision was only one season, and there have been some crazy leaked rumors about how WandaVision is going to finish. I know you and I can't wait to talk about WandaVision once it's finished, but we are going to wait till it finishes up until we spoil everything for everybody in an episode.
But for sure, we're gonna spoil it before Hummer sees it.
Yeah, definitely. Unless you hurry up and watch it all, dude. Like, you're crazy.
Well, I mean,
Only-
I was still stuck on Spider-Man because I was fascinated with how Tom Holland says croissant.
I saw that. It's pronounced croissant.
Croissant. You got to get all your French mandible muscles going.
I heard that was part of the one. You know, that Tom Holland just pops in and goes, "Did you bake croissants?"
That's the cameo that everybody's been waiting to see. All right, Hummer, Mr. Hummer. Why don't you tell us what Just Mercy is about and if it's worth our time?
Let's start with Stanley Tucci because it's a lot quicker. I'm gonna bury the lead here a little bit because Stanley Tucci. What is the actual official title for it? Stanley Tucci Searching for Italy. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Has the potential to kind of be I don't want to say replacement because it's not nowhere near a replacement, but you know, if you liked Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations, this gives you a little bit of that vibe to it, where here he grew up in Italy though, or he spent a year of his life in Italy and he's revisiting all these places and he's kind of telling you like he's going to and exploring the history of these different places and all over the place. In each episode focuses on a certain region in Italy. So like, he might go to Rome, but then he's not going to spend his time just in Rome. He's going to go to the surrounding parts of Rome. But then they're also talking about the history at, you know, where the food came from, because it's definitely a show that revolves around food, and I'm obsessed with food. Yeah, so I thought it was really good. Also, at some point, you notice that Stanley Tucci must have the world's biggest gigantic man penis. It just like he's wearing these. He's like, where's this going? It was just he was wearing these tight pants and it just sticks out. I'm like, man, CNN put this on TV. Like, dude needs to wear some looser pants.
He needs the support.
Needs the support.
But
he's just an interesting character.
That must be why on IMDb the first episode has a 9.2 rating.
A humble 9.2. A short 9.2.
Episode 2 though shrinks a little bit. It's only 8.8. They're using metric instead of standard.
That's what it is.
Imperial. No, it's a really good show. It's really fascinating. It has some good anecdotes. Stanley Tucci's a very interesting guy. I've always liked how he, you know, if you picture him being this like very suave individual, very like knowledgeable from the roles that he plays, he's exactly that in this show. He seems to be knowledgeable, but he asks good questions. He's very good at getting the stories out of these people. So definitely a watch. I guess maybe it's not necessarily a replacement, but maybe if you're just looking for something to fill your time instead of rewatching The Office, pick up Stanley Tucci. Get a little bit of that Italian.
Give him a shake. Just pick him right up and shake him.
First,
he
remember,
hates it.
All your fingers like this. Hey, all right. That's
Madrona. I don't actually know if that's Italian or not.
I kill you. All right. I kill you. I kill your family. Okay.
Your Italian accent is terrible.
Thank you.
Hey, come over here and let me kill you with a soldering iron.
That's because that's Southern Italian. This is Northern Italian. There's difference.
Oh, so you're doing a more Mussolini thing.
Yeah, definitely Mussolini. But no, I give it a 3. It's definitely worth your time if you want to check it out. You like shows about food and travel. It's definitely going to be right up your alley. If you don't like shows about food or travel, stay away from it. Very simple.
Is there a like trend going on now where celebrities are just doing things around the world and it's turning into like a semi-reality, semi-documentary show? Because there's like the Jeff Goldblum one, which sounds, immediately more interesting because it's just Jeff Goldblum learning about things.
I couldn't get into the Jeff Goldblum one though. I tried.
I feel like I wouldn't say it's a trend. It's definitely always been a thing.
Has it been?
The Discovery Channel and History Channel. I was just watching some some like wildlife channel wildlife show that they had freaking David Schwimmer as the host, and like the facts and information was really interesting, but you're listening to Ross Geller tell you about it, and it's so terrible.
Was he
Like,
whiny? Was he like
yeah,
whiny the whole time, and then like
and
making really bad decisions by not being very direct?
they even used the fact they're like, I played Ross Geller, who was a paleontologist on Friends, which is the only justification for me doing this show.
My sandwich.
It was
So this one doesn't seem like they're trying to force Stanley Tucci into it. It sounds like they're trying to force Ross Geller.
I got you stuck in you're stuck in the friend zone, baby.
It sounds like they're trying to force him into like this type of role. But no, I don't think it's necessarily a trend. But the one cool thing with Stanley Tucci's is that half of it was recorded pre-COVID and half of it was recorded after COVID. So some of these places, like you see COVID restrictions, like where he has to wear a mask or
it was recorded in the future because we're still in COVID.
It's over, man. Biden won the election. Okay, COVID is done.
It's been proven that it's not real.
It's been proven that it's over, at least.
No, I guess what I mean is he recorded some of it after the lockdown in Italy had ended, so he went back over there. He recorded some of the stuff. So it's this one seems like it's more was like maybe his idea that he maybe approached someone about it because he grew up in it, or I keep saying he grew up. He lived there for a year. His family's Italian. You know, he speaks fluent Italian, so he's over there and he's going into, you know, he's speaking Italian and English. So there's subtitles at some parts in the show because, you know, he's having conversations with people who don't speak English.
Abundanza.
If I were famous, I would constantly pitch networks travel shows just to have free vacations. Like constantly be like, hey, so I was going to go to Hawaii anyway, but do you guys want to follow me with some cameras and take me to cool places that I wasn't planning on going originally? Like, I think that if you're famous, that's probably easy to do.
It's not a bad idea. But what I will tell you is we were spending way too much time talking about Stanley Tucci.
I would much rather, I still want to hear more about Jeff Goldblum the whole time in these situations going, and there it is.
And that's fascinating, though.
So, yeah, go ahead, Homer.
There was one really good one with Jeff Goldblum, the first one with the shoes, with how like the sneakers are made. I found that one very interesting, but I digress. So the other movie that I watched, which was really good, which I'm really disappointed that it took me, I want to say 10 minutes prior to this podcast searching for it to remember what I had watched, what it was called. It was called Just Mercy. It was a movie released in 2019 or 2019. The cast it's composed of one of Sauce's favorites. He just loves this man's voice. His Alexa is set to it. You know,
Snoop Dogg.
He pictures him every time he says, "Alexa, turn on the sprinklers." Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. And
Double
personally,
saucy.
not my favorite, but definitely not bad eye candy. Brie Larson. Basically, it's a movie about a Harvard grad. It's a true story about a Harvard grad where it starts off, he's pre-Harvard. He's in Harvard. He hasn't graduated yet as a lawyer. He's doing his internship, helping out, filing paperwork for death row inmates in Alabama. And this is in like the 80s. When he graduates Harvard, instead of taking some high-profile lawyer job, he goes to be the only person willing to be a public defender for death row inmates in Alabama. And so he starts one by one. He starts taking them as clients. They're apprehensive at first. And it's just a story of like, it's kind of taking you back into, you know, showing you that civil rights in the South didn't necessarily end in the 60s, that it was still persistent and how terrible it was.
Or could still be.
And still is. But it goes through and shows the work that he does, because the character that he's playing, his name is Brian Stevenson, and he's a world-renowned civil rights defense attorney. So he takes on these cases. He's part of I believe he's part of the Innocence Project. You know, where he's going around and he's taking on cases to help prove his client's innocence. And that's where this story centers around one client who was falsely accused of murdering a woman when and just how the police basically didn't even do an investigation, and just it shows you all the things that he had to go through, even though it was clear as day. It's a really good watch. The movie, it's awesome. Michael B. Jordan's fantastic, does a fantastic job acting, and Jamie Foxx was incredible. This is one I would put on the top of your list. If you're looking for something to watch this weekend and you drop what you're watching, put this one on. You're going to like it. You'll enjoy it. I give it this one I'm giving a 5. I think you really need to pick it up and watch it.
What if I don't believe in civil rights? Would I enjoy this movie?
If you don't believe in civil rights, you should still watch this movie because you need to get cultured, son. If you're MAGA, no, probably won't.
You know, if I could be an attractive man of color, I would want to be Michael B. Jordan.
Keep going. Keep elaborating.
I also am a man of color. That was the joke. So thanks for ruining that.
Well, you made that joke to 2 white people. We've been missing that joke for years.
I'm cutting all that out. Why do you think it's so good, Hummer?
The act, like the way they tell the story, the acting in it is phenomenal. You know, in conjunction with the true story, and the fact that I have a habit of, while I'm watching movies, especially ones that are based off true stories, of hopping on Wikipedia and trying to basically get to the ending. This one it moved along fast enough that you didn't have to do that. It also, I think, did a good job of like keeping you knowing what's going to happen, in a sense, you know, like the major plot point, what's going to happen. But then there's other things that, like, I don't know, it was an emotional roller coaster at times. Like, it literally took you to, like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, to, oh my God, this happened. I'm so happy this happened. It was just really good in that sense. But afterwards, when I was kind of going through the Wikipedia of like how true is the true story, and it was a true story that was pretty true to the true story. There's not a whole lot of deviations that they had to do in order to make this. The only thing they had to do really was add in some characters that were, for lack of a better term, encompassing multiple characters, you know, because you couldn't. But for the most part, like the main judge, she was a real person. Two judges were real people. The state prosecutor was a real person. The sheriff was a real person. You know, so like they did a really good job of sticking true to what the story was and not deviating from it. Which that's always kind of a pet peeve of mine. If it's a history story worth being told, you really shouldn't have to Hollywoodize it. Which is why Pearl Harbor is one of the worst movies in the history of cinema.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have to make some sacrifices, because I'm thinking of like Chernobyl and like the little tweaks they had to make to like the historically accurate events just to, you know, make the story work on screen. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm definitely gonna put that on my list for sure. I've been watching a lot of I think we've all been kind of reviewing a lot of more autobiographical or like, you know, based on true stories or like documentaries lately.
Is this a trend?
Definitely not with the movies I watched this week, so I'm just gonna go ahead and ruin that now. So thank you for that perfect segue, actually. I got 2. I got a quickie and I got a longie, because I can't think of a better word for what's the opposite of a quickie.
I don't know. Let's ask. Can we get an opinion here? Can we get a poll here?
I like longie. Why not? It sounds like something that'd be out of a Blue's Clues episode.
Excuse me, honey. Was I a shorty or a longie tonight?
It's more like, what are you more in the mood for, a shorty or a longie? Doesn't matter what the answer is. It's gonna be.
It's tonight for me or for you, babe.
Trick question. So speaking of kids movies, so I watched a kids movie. So this is going to be the quick review, because
I'm not going to make a joke there. You can't.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to remember what I watched this on. This is a Disney Plus movie, so it's basically a made-for-TV Disney movie. So kind of going back on what we were talking about last week, Flora and Ulysses. I didn't know what this movie was about before I watched it. I just saw it had a squirrel doing a superhero pose. on the cover art. So I thought, hey, let's watch that tonight. Something that the kids might like. And I was in for a treat because without knowing anything about the movie or watching a trailer or anything, it's a story about a little girl who befriends a squirrel that ends up getting superpowers, and it's about their adventures together, her teaching the squirrel about how to be a superhero, yet the squirrel also teaching the girl how to bring her family back together.
How to be a human.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way. Nailed it. What I noticed though right away is that the dad's played by Ben Schwartz, who is amazing, and I don't know why the name is escaping me. What's his improv show called? Middle Ditch Schwartz. Duh. So I love John Ralphio and seeing him and stuff. He's hilarious. So he has to play like the straight man, the dad, but he's still like, every time he gets the opportunity to act with Danny Pudi, it comes out because Danny Pudi's also in this movie, aka Abed from Community. And then I also realized that Bobby Moynihan is in the movie, not like a main character. And then another character in the movie is what's her name? I don't know how to say her name. It looks like Kate Micucci. You know who I'm talking about?
No, not off the name Makuchi.
Kate Lickercucci.
I'm butchering her name, but
do I have to look it up too to back you up?
Sure. I can't. I don't. She's in Scrubs. She's Gooch in Scrubs.
I know who that is, at least.
But what I realized, not that this has any relevance to anything, but what I realized is the four of them all voice Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and the girl duck on the new DuckTales.
Yes.
So I thought that was funny. So it's all of them getting together to do a kids movie. But the kids movie, it was a cute movie. My girls really liked it. It's an enjoyable story. There's enough you can appreciate the acting from, people that you like, Ben Schwartz, Bobby Moynihan, enough to enjoy it, to get over like the sappiness of the story. But if you're looking for something to watch with your kids that isn't going to just completely, mentally drain you and actually keep you somewhat engaged and curious in the story, it's a good story. Definitely enjoyable. If you have Disney Plus and are looking for a movie for family night, definitely you can put Flora and Ulysses on the list. If you don't have Disney Plus, it's not something you're going to get to watch like WandaVision. That's worth getting Disney Plus to watch. So I'm going to give it a family 3.
Family 3.
A family 3.
That means a single one.
Mm-hmm. I was pleasantly surprised though, because at the beginning of the movie, I had no idea what it was about, and then this girl starts giving this monologue. Who, it's also got the boy from Blind Manor. He plays a blind kid, and you would think him playing a blind kid and all the jokes they make about him being blind would be kind of like problematic and insensitive, but I feel like they were tastefully done. But the beginning starts off with her like teaching the audience about superheroes, and they're because it's Disney owned, they're showing like actual classic Wolverine comic book covers, Spider-Man comic book covers, like characters that they own so they can actually use them, which was cool. But I think I just will watch anything superhero related, and I subconsciously knew what it was. But what I really wanted to get into this week is another Couchbuster movie, because it's a Netflix movie. Malcom and Marie. Have you guys seen anything about this movie at all?
No.
Nothing.
Hard no.
So I guess the marketing really isn't doing a good job promoting Netflix's own movies that they're making.
If it's not on TikTok, I don't see it anywhere.
That makes sense. That's 2021.
What is your True 5? It's all the videos on TikTok, okay? All of them.
So go ahead and follow at Timesink Pod on TikTok. There's one video currently, but Brad's working on that.
Yep. TBD. TBD.
Don't knock it till you try it, bro. It's so addicting.
There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that me and Hummer do to try to promote this podcast and help it grow. And Brad's here too.
Thanks for that. Is it my turn to do a review now?
No. So Malcolm and Marie.
You
So I got
brutal.
I got recommended this movie by my buddy, my sensitive buddy that I work with. He likes the artsy fartsy films, so I would.
Sensitive.
He's very sensitive. I would categorize that under artistic, because depends on what you're in the mood for watching. Me personally, I love watching stupid big budget action movies that have no cultural impact and no like metaphysical impact on my life in any way. I just want to watch cool shit happen and things explode. Usually, most of the time, that's my thing. I like the idea of what if, like sci-fi. What if we can do this? What does that mean? What kind of story would this entail? But Malcolm and Marie is old school, classic, artistic movie making, solely focusing on humans and human relationships. It is a black and white movie. It takes place.
You lost me.
Yeah. Not race wise, but color wise.
Yeah,
it's a black and white movie.
Oh, you brought him back.
Oh, I'm in now.
Well, and that actually is I want to come back to that, but it's about a couple that it's basically the whole movie is about an argument that they're having, and it takes place one night after a filmmaker is celebrating the success of the release of his movie, and then the subsequent argument that him and his girlfriend have about it, which is very interesting. They bring up a lot of really good points about the film industry and critiquing the film industry. And then it's crazy that John David Washington and Zendaya are the only two people in this movie. And John David Washington goes on this amazing screaming rant for about 5 minutes, a 5-minute monologue, just completely like eviscerating, critiquing and like trying to understand a filmmaker and the directors in the movie making business. And then Zendaya with like one joke totally like destroys his argument. It's really good. And it's really interesting how they develop the characters and their backstory and their history all through the context of this one argument that they're having. Very well acted by Zendaya and John David Washington, who, if you think he didn't do the best job in Tenet, you get a lot more range from him in this movie. But I feel like
a Christopher Walken's impersonation was coming out right there.
That's just my normal speaking pattern. Anybody could have played this part, I feel like, although he did a really good job. But the movie itself is good, but it has to be what you're looking for. You're going to get uncomfortable at times. Like at the beginning, I'm like, oh, this is just another argument between like me and my wife. I've been here, I get this. And then it gets deeper, and then you get uncomfortable, and then like they reveal stuff and you get drawn more into it, and you want to know where it's going. You want to know who's right, who's wrong. And as I'm describing this, does that sound like something either of you would want to watch?
Actually,
Sounds like something I would watch, but like not something I would actively seek out.
Right. And so that was why I watched it, because my buddy's like, yeah, it's like kind of devastating. Like he said it reminded him of a Marriage Story. And I was like, every now and then I need like a, what's that? Not Sultan by the Sea. What's the Casey Affleck movie? Manchester by the Sea. Sometimes you need a Manchester by the Sea to cleanse the palate.
Yeah. Well, my kink is being emotionally devastated, so
perfect. Then
that's my thing.
You're so dirty and kinky.
I wouldn't say that this movie is emotionally devastating, but it's
I'm out.
It's focused on these two people's emotions. It's a good movie. It's a new experience. Doing something new, trying something new. I enjoyed it. It actually doesn't have the best reviews, and I can kind of see why, but I don't want to say anything without spoiling it. I don't know if you want to watch this movie with the Mrs. Hummer. It might lead to an argument. It might lead you both to arguing who's right and who's wrong, and then you're going to have your own fight, and then you should film it in black and white.
I feel like that would be the
And
hardest
put it
part.
on our TikTok.
Oh Lord, me putting an argument with my wife on TikTok.
Relationship fight
Definitely-
TikToks. We'll start a new trend.
No, they're there. They're there.
Damn it. I'm so behind.
I think they get that. So going back to what I was saying, I think it like this is me just being a total like plebe. I'm pretty sure the reason that they filmed it in black and white is because although the cinematography of the way they structured shots inside the house that they never leave is awesome, the way they artistically use this house to tell this story, but to me it's in black and white because the only thing that matters is what they're saying to each other and the emotions they're conveying to each other. But I always wonder, like, what makes someone choose to put this movie in black and white versus put it on color? Like, I have no idea why Zack Snyder wants to do a Justice League version in black and white. Like, why?
It saves at least $40 to have it non-colored. I don't know if you knew that.
And there really is only 2 actors in it.
Yes.
All right, I'm intrigued.
Exactly. Right. I think it's definitely worth a watch.
So they did it in black and white. They only had 2 people, which means the budget is super low. And Kid Cudi is a producer on it. I'm in.
It is a good movie. But what's I'm having trouble with is saying if it's worth your time, because I think by telling you upfront what it is going to affect your score. Like, if that's what you're looking for, I think it's a 4. If it's not what you're looking for, I still think you'll enjoy it watching it. And I would like to talk to you about it. And I give it a 3. But for me, it was definitely a 4 out of 5. I want to see more Zendaya, and I want to see Zendaya crushes it in it. Absolutely, she's phenomenal. And I want to see more John David Washington. I think if he gets put in the right role, he's going to be amazing.
Cool.
Oh yeah, because he's really good in the HBO show. Why can't I think of the name? Ballers.
Oh, I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, he's a main character for pretty much a main character throughout, and then he kind of comes in and out after his Jerry Maguire moments starting to fade.
But we could agree that that's a very average to below average show, right? Ballers, not great.
It's definitely, I mean, I'm going to jump the gun here, but it's definitely one of my, I could replace, like, if I have to
replace Entourage with it because it's on the same level of like male douchery.
I just liked it. I thought it was
Entourage
good.
Ballers. I'll put one under my left testicle and one under my right. And now I'm set to go out for a night.
I'm not going to hate on it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both those shows, and I'm proud of it. I actually liked the movie too.
Bumblebee Tuna, put your dick away.
How dare you suggest that would be a replacement for The Office?
No, I mean, like, one of those shows where like it has if you like it, it has some rewatchability to it. You could go and easily just pick out an episode if you liked it.
Some rewatchability in no way compares to the most rewatchability of all shows.
Right, but there's only like, I guess we don't want to jump the gun too quick here, but there's only like 3-4 shows that are actually rewatchable to the scale of The Office.
Disagree.
Friends, Community, Parks and Rec,
Seinfeld.
Who's rewatching Seinfeld at our age?
Dude,
Get out of here.
Seinfeld is still slaps, bro. Seinfeld is still
It's all
just
right.
as hard as that bass intro of every episode.
Exactly.
It's all right.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, Futurama, Simpsons, Family Guy.
You're losing me on 3 of those.
Superstore.
No.
I'm just trying to think of stuff. Modern Family.
Yes, Modern Family is up there. Modern Family is expertly
Always
written.
Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yep.
30 Rock, if it hasn't been mentioned. We are gonna have to take some time and talk about how you replace The Office stuff, and because at some point the people need that.
Yeah, you're right.
We have to help everyone's anxiety the only way we know how.
We could get into it and just record Brad's
Recommending
section at the end.
TV shows to watch over and over again, because we can't help you on anything else.
I don't know. Like when
I
you say
can't help
office
you move a
replacement-
couch, Jeremy.
When you're saying like office replacement, something like, all right, I could literally, if like Desert Island, one show you're bringing with you, I'm bringing The Office, and I don't need to watch.
Hollowed out.
I'm never gonna get tired of it, but I'll get tired of 90% of those shows that you mentioned. Like 30 Rock, I couldn't rewatch that over and over and over and over again.
I agree. Modern
Has to
Family,
be
I could
crazy.
though. Modern Family is up there for me. Modern Family is consistently good. Actually, it's like my goal to be Phil, a Phil type dad from Modern Family. He's my favorite family dad. Plus, it's got Sofia Vergara, which is very important to my.
That's who my goal is, to be Sofia Vergara. I don't know if you knew that about me.
Come on, hey, you want to get a drink later?
Not sexually, God. I just want that sort of. I want that raw confidence.
Okay. So yeah, maybe we'll have a little bit more time to
Pepsi.
We're gonna talk about it next week for sure. We'll all fight, and at the end we'll hug. But Brad, you wanted to tell us about Irresistible?
And how simply it is. No. All right, cool. Start. Woo! Really coming in hot there. So
Sorry.
The beads of sweater dripping off Brad's face.
is this thing on? Is it hot?
I still don't get it.
I'm not going to explain it. Then there's no joke. Anyway, so
those are the best jokes.
very recently, as in sort of finished it before we started recording today, watched a movie from the mind of Jon Stewart called Irresistible. It's on HBO right now. It was a 2020 release. It's very political. It's pretty much a farcical look at politics, I guess. It takes place sometime after the 2016 elections, where Donald Trump defeated the Hillary Clinton. And it stars Steve Carell as he's a Democratic strategist, and then who's the Rose Byrne?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rose Byrne as a Republican strategist, and they had just finished the campaigns for Donald and Hillary, and Steve Carell then finds this viral video that goes viral of a veteran in a small town in Wisconsin, like lecturing the mayor of the town and stuff about immigration issues, but very like down to earth and rural. And so Steve Carell's character goes to his Democratic committee and says, "This is the kind of guy we need to make a Democrat. We need to get back in touch with these rural people, and this is where we're going to find our new force for the future of our Democratic Party."
Is he the Joe the plumber archetype?
Basically, yes. It comes from as a comedy. It's very it's not like Welcome to Mooseport, small town mayoral race. It very much has a more like real tone, and its comedy is very real and satirical, because it's gonna come off pretty leftist, but it does a pretty poignant job of making fun of both sides and the entire political process, and just how broken and criminal it is. And there's a really good moment where they need to raise campaign funds. So Steve Carell takes his small town Wisconsin mayoral candidate to New York to meet with hedge funders, but they're Democrats, in order to raise money. And when he does this speech, he literally just says, he just tells him how dumb it is that he is trying to improve his town, but he has to come to New York to try to ask these millionaires to care about him and his town that lost a population of over 12,000 people in a matter of a year because they all moved away from his small town. So it really takes, and it definitely has some very solid character performances from Rose Byrne, from Steve Carell. There's a younger girl in it. I can't think of her name. I'm gonna have to look it up. Mackenzie Davis, who I thought plays the daughter of the mayoral candidate, and she was in Blade Runner and Black Mirror. She was really good. So there were some really good, just small performances from some people you'll recognize. Will Sasso I saw in there, and a couple other people that I recognized. I was really poignant. I mean, it's definitely really political. As much as I say they make fun of both sides, The Guardian gave it a 20 on Metacritic, if that helps you see which way that one side feels it leans. Jon Stewart's always been pretty leftist himself, so it definitely comes from his mind and like has a lot of. I haven't really watched Trevor Noah's Daily Show, but have watched plenty of Jon Stewart's over the years, so it very much has his thumbprint on it. You could tell it was still early for him as a director too, because I can't really get into full breakdowns of full technical things of directing and things like that, like aspect ratio and all sorts of film, blah, blah, blah. But you can tell it has some more amateur film moments to it, which almost helped it in a sense because it's taking place in this small Wisconsin town. So it kind of had a nice feel to it. The movie moved really well. You see lots of tertiary characters with character arcs in them. Like this was a well done movie, but it's very political, and you have to want that to be entertained by it. But Steve Carell is just he carries such a great performance in almost everything he does. Pretty much everything he does is watchable, at least.
Except for
That's why
Space Force.
You didn't think Space Force was watchable?
What?
I did
I
not.
thought it
enjoy
was.
Space
I thought it.
Force.
I didn't think it was
definitely
great.
It was watchable.
I didn't think it was great, but it was like he was like it was like him trying to be a slightly more serious version of Michael. So that ruined it a lot, I thought. But how great was everyone else I thought in that show? Like everyone else was so good. Except maybe Ben Schwartz was a little too much John Ralphio.
I don't know. You can't have too much John Ralphio.
But
he needed more John Ralphio.
That's what it was.
I would give.
We need to throw a party for Space Force.
I would give this movie a 3. I don't think it's fully worth a 4. Not in quality, but just in how worth your time it is. Like you come across it, you watch it, you're probably gonna enjoy it at least to a sense. It's gonna make you think a little bit, and there are some kind of darker character tropes that go on, and it's a really satirical look on politics. So I think on whatever side of the fence you're on, there's going to be stuff you agree with, stuff you disagree with, stuff you're glad they addressed, and stuff that is a really ugly look on where our political situation is. So its poignancy is there, and you'll think about that stuff. And I think that's good for what it's trying to do. But is it the most entertaining thing you're going to watch? Probably not. Yeah, end it with your Patrick Warburton impression. But yeah, so like I said, it's good. It's not great. It's not the most entertaining thing, but it's definitely worth your time if you come across it and are looking for something that's it's going to carry you a lot of different emotions throughout the film, and make you think a little bit, have to pay attention a little bit, but it's still a little light and satirical when looking at such like a hard topic to talk about these days because of the current political climate.
I remember seeing a trailer for the movie and thinking I definitely want to watch it because I love Jon Stewart, especially, also watched The Daily Show, loved his Daily Show. and everything he's doing post his Daily Show career. Trying to help out New Yorkers, big time.
I'm walking here.
Use guys. But I didn't want to go see it.
You're off the Steve Carell train, aren't you?
Well,
How can he be off the Steve Carell train?
no, I just want Steve Carell's so funny. Like, he's good in serious movies too. Like, I love Crazy Stupid Love is one of my favorite movies. And
did
he
you like
plays
Dan in real life?
No, I didn't. Did anyone?
But he's sleeping on a stack of pancakes.
Yeah, I wanted to see it because I really like Jon Stewart. But so now that it's on HBO, I didn't realize that. So I'm definitely I support Jon Stewart. I will check it out. But I too did not start watching the Trevor Noah Daily Show. I moved over to Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
I've tried, and I think Trevor Noah. I've watched some of his stand up, and like he's really smart and he's funny, and
Yeah.
it's just I think a lot of it has to do with the writers behind Jon Stewart. They had like. Think of how many of them have careers now, like that have done such big things. Steve Carell's one of them. We've talked about people, Catherine Hahn, who's doing huge things right now with WandaVision, is one of his writers, and the people he had behind him. He's like, Trevor Noah doesn't have people behind him right now, I think is the problem. Plus, people have moved away from cable. I haven't watched anything on Comedy Central in years.
That's mostly what it is.
You can still watch The Office on Comedy Central.
Oh, really?
I would suggest, though, if you ever get the chance, if you are taking a trip to New York, and there's a chance to go see the filming of the Daily Show, 100% worth it. It is a absolute blast, and here's the best part: it is free. It does not cost a single penny to go and watch be in the audience. You basically just have to get on. You have to go to the website. You have to pick a day that you're going to go. You have to apply to get tickets, and then they'll tell you if you get selected. Is that what happened with us? No, that's Tonight with Jon Stewart.
Yeah, that's just any taping lottery.
I don't think there wasn't a lottery
like that.
I don't think there was a lottery for the Daily Show. I think we just went there and we sat in line for like 4 hours before they opened the doors. Like
that makes sense
start
too.
A queue, then they count how many people are there, and then they tell you to come back like 3 hours later when they actually started. But what's cool about it is you get there, the stage is cool. You basically just walk up, you're sitting in like a bleacher style audience. You've probably seen the audience at those shows. But then they bring out a hype man, and he's so funny. It's like you're getting a stand-up comedian who's really funny. Probably one of the writers comes out, hypes the crowd up. Then they give you a little instruction about what's going to happen. And it's kind of cool to see the magic behind it, because they do pause, they do stop. If they have to they're on our episode, they actually came out and said our lawyers didn't like how we said something, so we have to take that out of the show, so we have to re-record it. And they basically redid the bit, and he changed it up completely though. It was still a bit the same context, but they had another joke that they could throw in, so that way we were actually organically laughing and not just I've heard that twice now.
I always wanted to go to a taping of Whose Line Is It? Pardon me. Whose Line Is It Anyway? Because they do a 2-hour show for people, and they break it into 4 or 5 episodes. I always thought that would be cool to actually see it as a 2-hour live show rather than a 15-minute episode that they just pick and choose stuff from for something of that.
Yeah. I want to see
really cool.
Saturday Night Live. I want to be able to go see Saturday Night Live.
The process of going to see Saturday Night Live is so ridiculous sometimes, though, because for that one, you get in line, you choose whether or not you want tickets for the rehearsal or for the televised show. Most people choose the rehearsal because you're more likely to get a seat, because you go and you show up with your ticket after you've waited the first time, and you still might not get it, especially if it's the tape show, because the cast and the host and all them can invite as many people as they want, so you can get bumped for people just on invites.
And they're always giving more tickets than the venue allows, because they will not have an empty thing.
Right.
So even if you get a ticket like with the Daily Show, you still like you come back. I think we got there maybe like an hour before they open the doors again, just to make sure that you're getting
Yeah.
your spot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're not there for check-in, you're gone. You're not even allowed in. Which makes sense though, because they pan to the camera a lot in those sometimes in those shows, and you don't want to see empty seats. It's not what they want to see. But yeah, that'd be a fun one to go to.
Yeah, that's my dream, to go see Saturday Night Live. And if you want to get a ticket to come see us live and sit right across the desk from me, it's free. You can just come on over and then you watch us record.
You're gonna get some real weird people in your house for saying that, man. Just someone staring at you like,
I would like.
When's the Pomeranian come in?
I actually do want to start having fans of the show being able to come on and give their take or review on whatever. I don't know if we should do a contest for it or if we should do something special, but I think I definitely want to start incorporating, like we definitely have guest plans, so stay tuned. I think we're gonna have our first guest next week, but we don't want it to just be like people doing stuff. Like
if we have like a fan on, I really hope they just like they come onto the recording, the first thing they do is like big hairy dicks.
Baba booey, baba booey, baba booey.
and then hang up.
That's a 3-pointer.
But my goal, my intention was to make the show for busy people who don't have enough time to play games or watch movies, and they want to know what they should spend their time on. So if that sounds like you, reach out to me and maybe you could come be a guest on the show. But with that being said, that's all we got time for you this week. Definitely hit us up on timesinkpod.com. Let us know. Reach out to us. Check out all of our social medias. We're available almost everywhere. Definitely check out Hummer's TikTok and make sure if you can see who he's been following. That's what's most interesting. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening.
People can see who I'm following.
I don't know. And we'll see you guys next week.
No, I've never seen a vagina.
It was a church joke, but okay.
Tell me what that is. Does Harry Potter know?
I've been in a church, Frank. Your wedding was in a church. I was stared at by Jesus with a sword the whole time. Why did he have a sword?
I believe in battle Jesus.
He was threatening me the whole time. Standing up there, not knowing any Spanish.
Yeah, bro, that's Mexican Jesus.
It was crazy, super crazy.
Nobody fucks with Mexican Jesus.
Mexican Jesus is way more fun because he
definitely not white.
He drinks the Corona and tequila
for sure.
Wine.
White Jesus is the most boring Jesus. Like let's sit down and drink brandy and play chess. That's white Jesus.
I think he's a wine guy. He's definitely a wine guy
for sure. Obviously,
but Mexican Jesus definitely Corona. Take a little sip, pour a little tequila in it.
But I'm the racist one.
Has nothing to do with race, bro.
Oh,
religion. Dude, Mexican Jesus for sure. He's cool to chill with. He shoots dice and plays dominoes, and he's always trying to borrow $20 from you.
But he's a family man.
Exactly, familia.